Number one, number two.
Number two.
Okay, I'm just saying this just so everybody knows, okay? I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I spent a few hours in the ER today with my mother, who got shot number 2 on Sunday, and she's felt like garbage for 3 days, and she was dehydrated and nauseous and all that. So they gave her an IV, and they gave her the anti-nausea medicine or whatnot. She's still there. My nephew's there because he works across the street. And so he just, I jumped here and he just jumped there. But yeah, so just.
Oh, I know. I've heard a lot of people get quite sick with the second shot. My sister-in-law wasn't feeling very good. And which one did your mom get?
Pfizer.
Moderna?
Pfizer.
Oh, Pfizer. I'm sorry.
Pfizer, yeah. I was like, I don't know after Pfizer. I don't know if there's a certain one.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
I got both shots and they were Modernas and I haven't had a problem.
Nice.
Well, Matt, I'll be nice and give you my horror story. So
one of mine got the Moderna and got pretty bad after the second one. I got the second one and I started feeling a little achy, took a day of straight Theraflu every 4 hours and felt like $1 million.
Yeah,
So they said you can treat the symptoms.
I haven't had a bit of problems. I think it's just a matter of physiology.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I agree. Physiology, all that stuff. But
yeah,
she's been, rough for 3 days now. So.
Rats.
Yeah.
all right, are we ready to call this meeting to order?
Let's do it.
Yep.
All right, let's call the meeting to order at 6:01. Jenny, roll call.
Tammy,
Here.
Ben,
Here.
Matt.
Here.
Okay, any citizens yet?
I got nothing.
Perfect. Okay, all right. March minutes, any discussion, changes? I don't have any changes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Ah,
Aye.
All right, Jenny, financial reports.
Fund status is looking good. No adjustments on the cash summary. Our revenues, the highest revenue that we got was income tax. It was a good month for that. Payments were 105,349. Those were also pretty standard. I didn't see anything really unusual to talk about that we had to pay for this time. We don't have our credit card report for this month, but the one for last month came in after the meeting and everything was normal, normal charges. Revenue status at the end of March, we should be at right around 25%. We aren't, but it's nothing to worry about because some things come in at certain times of the year and it just kind of balances out. So I really don't give a lot of weight to the revenue status report. Appropriation status, we're on track. We're under in some things, which is always good. That means we're not spending like crazy. And there were no adjusting factors on the bank reconciliation. Still trying to find a good trend report. I didn't forget about it, but I want to make sure that it has everything in it that you need. So I'm still kind of looking around at different reports. There's some that are called management reports that I've never used before. So I'm looking at those and trying to see if any of those would be a good fit for a trend report. So.
No, that's cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay. No
Are you using different reporting software every time, or is it just different reporting?
No, it's just
software?
all in the UAN. The UAN is the Uniform Accounting Network that the Auditor of State gives us. So there's just a lot of reports in that.
Sure. Cool. Thank you. Sounds like a manager's report might have something like that.
It seems like it, but I haven't run across it yet.
Yeah, sure. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I guess I don't really have anything else.
Okay, can I get a
Motion
motion?
to move the financial report to council.
Second. All in favor?
Ah,
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Bill of resolution, Jenny? I had one question.
Okay.
On the police department and in administration, the CT consultants, it says October, November 2020 retainer. Is that just a typo?
No, they send the bills really late.
Okay.
We haven't even gotten the December bill yet.
Okay.
for 2020. They just, I don't know why they send them so far out, but they do. But those are for 2 from last year.
Okay. Because retainer would say that was pre, not post. But anyway.
I know retainers, that's just our monthly $250
Okay.
thing that we pay.
You're talking line 4, right?
Yeah.
That's probably because it's sitting in BR's stack and his stack is about 2 foot tall and he just hadn't got around to sending it yet.
Mm. Let's
And
see,
then
how do
the Portage County Water Resources under service, line 43.
Yep.
Did we already pay December, January before this?
I don't think we had one for December.
Because it was the big, this is the big one that came in February. Is that what this is? And then the smaller one in March? Like we all got the quarter in February?
I was thinking that January, I don't know why January isn't showing up on here, but I was thinking January and February came together in one bill. That's the big one that everybody got.
Well, it
and
was
then-
December, January, and February.
Let me pull these bills. Oh, you know what? We already paid them. Because the ones that came in last month, Linda wanted to look them over. And we talked very briefly about it at the meeting, that she wanted to check them and it was something that I could pay, later on because it's a standard utility.
Mhm.
Let's see, I'm trying to find it now. Okay. On here, these are from 11/25 through 3/01 estimated. So that's what was paid. And then for this month, we just got one. I think that just for the park. Yeah. So far, there might be more up in my mailbox that came today.
Okay.
Because that one just came yesterday for the park.
Okay. Those
And
are
then
my
I was
only
thinking there was a, oh yeah, the $25 under cemetery, that's to get the water turned on.
Okay.
I just have a quick question just about like what stuff is. Line 22, what's leads access fee?
That's for the police departments. Is it that your software, Joe?
What leads allows us to do, it's to access the confidential records to the state. So we can run CCHs, people's criminal history, and their driving records and stuff. We have to have leads to be able to do that
Cool. Right on.
through the Department of Administrative Services. So it's through the state of Ohio.
Very good. Cool.
I also see that on line 32, I didn't put a description, but it was like swings and things like that that had to be replaced. And then on line 34, I have no idea what that is. That's how it came to me. That's what was written on the requisition too. But I suspect that it's some kind of a hose, because I think that's what they make there at Industrial Connections, but I don't know. I probably should ask them to be more specific so we know what we're paying for.
Okay.
Now, wait a minute. Number 45 is a swing, so I'm not sure what Done Right playground equipment is. I'm pulling the bill.
Didn't we get a teeter totter and stuff?
It is. It says seesaw. Yep. That's what it is.
Okay.
Industrial Connections Incorporated, Timber Point Trail, Manaway, Ohio. Industrial fittings.
Okay. Okay, any other questions?
Nope.
Can I get a motion to move it to council?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Ah,
Aye.
Aye.
All right, let's review some legislation. Ordinance 2021-21 or 20, sorry. An ordinance authorizing the mayor and the clerk treasurer to advertise for bids for residential curbside rubbish and recycling services within the village. And this is a second reading. Any comments?
not-
Right.
Not for-
Okay. Resolution 2021-22, a resolution of the Village of Mantua, Ohio, authorizing the adoption of the Portage County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. That's again a second reading. Any comments?
Well,
None for me. Thank you.
no, I got a feeling this is something that we have to do.
It is, yeah, it's something.
read-
Portage
I-
County
I read it.
approved it, and we just have to adopt it. All right, ordinance 2021-23, an ordinance declaring a blighted area in the historic Main Street Commercial District of the Village of Mantua, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Now, what this is Restoration 44, Dan Tillett came to planning and is looking to get a grant that he's going to manage. Doesn't have it, the village doesn't have to spend any money. We just had to say that it was a blighted area in order that he can apply for the grant under a blighted area. That's what this is about.
That's
Yep.
fine.
No,
Okay.
that sounds good. I read through it and that makes sense.
Perfect.
The only thing that I would say is, and we've already been over this, but as long as it, being designated a blighted area doesn't have some type of negative consequence down the line, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, I don't think so. I think it's, if we get grant money for it.
Yeah, it won't be a blighted area anymore. But yeah, but I'm just saying, I always think about that. Like,
But I mean,
having-
even if he
go
didn't
ahead.
get this grant and we had to go for another grant, we've already designated it.
There's
So,
one thing,
yeah.
there's one thing y'all should know about a CDBG grant, because I did it for about 20 years,
Kevin?
is you have to spend all the money, because if you don't spend all the money, when you apply for the next one, they hold that against you. So they,
Well,
whatever amount of money they get, they should spend every penny of it. That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
but they're applying for it, not the Village of Manaway.
Well, they should know that. You have to spend all the money.
And I know Dan is working with the regional planners. So we talked to them. So he's got that under control, I think.
Lisa knows that. Lisa and I've talked about it before.
Michelle, do we need to move this to council?
Okay,
Or has it already been moved to council?
Planning already recommended it, so it's fine. It's already going.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. I couldn't.
do we have
All
to declare it as an emergency because there's a deadline on this application?
It is declared an emergency.
Yeah. What I'm saying is,
He's
that do
asking
we have to?
But the legislation does it for you.
you're asking, should we suspend the rules?
Like, do we have to?
Oh,
Right.
you want to suspend the rules and pass it on first reading this month, yes.
But
Yes.
is that because there's an application due, or you have to do it by a
Yeah, I
certain?
think they have a deadline coming up very soon, as far as I know.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I'm just sensitive to that, but it's cool.
I thought the same thing, but yeah, it was a. All right,
Yeah.
ordinance 2021-24, an ordinance amending section 331.45 of the codified ordinance of the Village of Manaway relating to distracted driving and declaring an emergency. Joe, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, what that is, what we're doing with 331.45, we're going to take number 4 out. And basically what that is whether you're entering a phone number on a keyboard on a phone, or you're reading or sending a text, your eyes are still distracted and it's on your cellular device. So we want to take that number 4 out, and then number 5 would become number 4. So that whole clause would then come out.
I'm going to recommend an additional, something I didn't think of before, but in the very first section, it talks about interacting with your keyboard to send or read or receive a text-based message. I'm going to also recommend to council that we add or initiate a telephone call. I should have thought of that for safety and I did not, but I think that will help tighten up some of the holes in this legislation. So that'll.
Now, just real quick, does the patrolling for that include like drivers that are staring down at their steering wheel? Because I'll tell you, that drives me insane when I drive around. I see drivers staring down at their steering wheel because there's a phone right there. Is that like a trigger that would cause you to pull somebody over or whatnot? Is that type of behavior?
Well, they can say they're looking down at their speedometer. It's going to be a tricky one.
It's a tricky one.
And we've already run into a little bit of a couple of tricky instances. So by taking number 4 out, it's going to take some of the guesswork out. Were they on their phone making a phone call, which technically as of today, they're allowed to do, or were they sending a text? And one person went to court and they actually supplied their phone records to prove that they were on their phone, not on a text. So,
Okay.
I mean, I wish we had x-ray vision to see what they were doing. It's kind of
know.
obvious at night when you see this blue glow up in their face.
Yeah,
But, in the daytime, you're right. When they're looking down, are we pretty sure they're looking at their device? Right. But
Yep.
it's what we can improve.
sure. Understood. Understood. I just see so much of it. I'm like, I just got to get away from this person,
And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to take some of the loopholes and some of the other scenarios out and try to make it as simple as possible. Basically, we just don't want you on your phone. There's enough Bluetooth and hands-free devices out there that are readily available that the phone should not be in your hand, should not be a distraction while you're driving in the village.
Yeah, I got Bluetooth. I talk to my truck.
Yep. There's no reason for it.
Michelle, can you make your amendment before it goes into the council packet, or do we still have to amend it at council?
No, we'll, I think at council, because this came out of safety in this
Okay.
form. So, but I'll remember to do it. I have a note right here in front of me.
Okay.
All right, we're ready to move on.
Move it on.
All right, ordinance 2021-25, an ordinance approving and adopting a permanent budget for the 2022 for the Village of Mantua after publication and public budget hearing pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code 5705.30. Jenny? Is there anything we need to know?
Well, this is the budget that Linda and I worked on together. And we both made a couple of changes on our own budgets so that we could compromise. So you would have plenty of time to look this over. And then I think before the May meeting, we should schedule a workshop. A lot of times we have it right before the meeting. We don't have water and sewer. So I have a feeling we don't need the full hour. I think a half an hour is probably enough. Really, the only thing to iron out is going to be, we don't have anything in the budget for road projects. We should probably discuss, what kind of road projects we're going to do. And, are we going to do the other part of Canada Road next year? If they're thinking about that, I know they're going to be closing 44 for a month and redoing that bridge. It's going to be the same bridge that's practically new. They just did. But they're going to
Yeah, they
close for a
did.
month and work on that. And Canada Road is going to get a bunch of traffic. At least that's what happened last time. So that'd be something to think about.
This is the
And
first.
I asked Joe to come tonight because he wants to talk about getting another full-time officer. So that's something we want to make sure we add to the budget too. So that we're going to talk about that next, but
I
Cool.
think it's in the budget.
It is.
Yeah, one thing on the follow-up about the bridge, I got a notification from ODOT yesterday. And yeah, the detour will be outside the village because it'll be all state routes, but yeah, they're saying up to 28 days for that project that's going to be in 2022. And because they worded it as just south Cuyahoga River, south of Orchard Street in the village of Mantua.
that's 2022?
Yeah, it's saying that they're in the preliminary early planning stages now. And then it
What-
listed exactly what all they were going to do.
Yeah, so what's the scope of the project exactly?
It's on my desk. It's basically like the approaches. There was some other kind of cement underneath the middle. But sounded pretty intense.
Okay.
Okay.
I have it. Let's see. It's to repair the bridge approach slabs and concrete deck wearing surface, replace compression seal joints, reset and refurbish bridge bearings at both abutments, and install new structure identification signs.
Jenny, did we receive a notice from ODOT to do authorizing legislation for this? Because I didn't get.
I was trying to think if we did that like a year or so ago. I thought we did some kind of legislation for like a couple years out.
Okay,
I'll have to take a look.
All right, can you, while we're on that, are you able to read the project ID number?
Yes, that is 102394.
102394. Computer says no. We did not do that project ID number.
Well, they do not have permission.
I don't know. We might need to get. I don't know if you can scan me that stuff. I can. When are they supposed to start? May? You think? We don't know.
This year or next year?
Next year, but it doesn't actually have the date. It just says that it's going to be closed for 28 days.
Oh, so it's not this May.
No, it's 22.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't worry about it that much then.
Michelle, I found the email. I'll just send this to you and then you'll have exactly, I think, what they sent Jenny and I.
Okay, that's great. And then we'll have legislation next month for it. And no rush if it's not till next year.
No,
Thank you.
that's good. We got plenty of time.
Can I get a motion to move 2021-25 to council? We haven't done that yet.
So
So-
moved.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Ah,
All right.
All right. Okay, we can move on to discussions. Chief?
Yeah, pre-COVID, when we made Patrolman Dunn, when we made the SRO position with Crestwood Schools from part-time to full-time, in there, we also had planned on adding additional full-time staff to the police department. And then COVID hit and we weren't sure if the SRO was going to be in the school or on the road. In the village, rather than incur the cost of two full-timers, one being the SRO when he's not in school plus an additional, we held off. Well, now the school's pretty much back in, he's back in school. So I think it's time to start looking to add full-time staff for the officers so that we can get a little more stabilized and makes it easier for schedule. Besides myself, Patrolman Dunn, and one other officer, everybody else has full-time jobs elsewhere. So basically, we've been a training ground. The younger ones or even officers come in, they get their training, they find something better and they move on. I think we've shared this with the other service departments, same thing. People come in till they find something. There's just no incentive for them to stay. So I think we need to look at something rather than just have a high turnover rate. We don't have people beating down the door to come work in law enforcement right now, and we haven't had for the last few years. So I think when we do get something and some younger people, I think we need to hold on to those and get some stability for the police department and the residents of the village.
Yep, no, I agree. I remember when I first moved here, it was, Dan Foreman, right? Dan was there, Sergeant Ed.
Bob?
Yep,
And
and all
Bob.
those guys were there. And it was like, that was nice because it was like the same group of guys that were always here, and I agree with the turnover. So yeah. Whatever we
Yeah,
could
and
do.
within 4 years, I lost the four strongest people and the
Yeah.
four most senior people of the whole department. I lost Chief Booker, Sergeant Wright, Dan Foreman, and Lieutenant Justice. So
Yeah.
the four people that had been there the longest with the most experience were in that cycle now. So I think it's time we plant some roots and, start the cycle over again.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Quick question, the SRO, what's that, like school something officer? What's the,
Resource officer.
That's the school resource officer. So basically, and it's in that, we have an SRO report we pass out at safety. If you'd like a copy, I can send that to you. It kind of gives all the number breakdown. Basically, we have a contract with the school. Anytime that the kids are in school, he's in school 8 hours a day. And then we bill the school, and then it's pretty much a wash. And then they reimburse us for most of his full burden rate.
Sure. Okay, that's cool.
Chief, will he be full-time police officer in the summertime for us? And he's not the SRO?
Yeah, what Patrolman did, like, yes, in the summer, he then goes on the road. So the school would, in essence, offset him for the most part for the 9 months, we'll say that they're in. And then for the 3 months in the summertime, he would then transition to the road.
Okay. So it'd be nice if you had a full-time person come August.
Yeah, it would be nice. Well, you know me, I'd like to take one before then.
Right, but
Because Patrolman Dunn, basically, when he came to us, he took over our training program and he got us organized with his experience. So he is one of the main FTOs, the field training officers. And then they have a booklet where they go down through and they document everything that they're trained off and they signed off on. He reviews their book, he goes down through it. He signs it off, then Sergeant Terry signs it off, and then it comes to me. So if we're going to train somebody and enhance their experience, the summertime would be great to do that. Because then in the fall, there would be a smooth transition. He goes back into the school, but we still didn't lose the flexibility of having a full-time officer on the road.
do you feel like you have it in the appropriated to this year to add that, or are you going to need it upped?
Jenny, I didn't get my current month's appropriations. It's basically benefits is going to be the one. The wage is kind of already figured. Jenny, do you know right offhand what we're paying for, say, a single person versus married, what the premiums are per month?
It's incredibly lower. Like a family plan is going to be closer to 1,200, where a single person is more like 500. Especially if they're young and male, it's a lot cheaper.
Well,
The cost is probably going to be the medical and the retirement. Ohio Police and Fire, we match almost 20%. So that's really the main things you have to look at, because like Joe said, wages are pretty much figured in because we're not going to have as many part-time if we have more full-time. So we've got that going on. And then in the month of January, a lot of wages and benefits were charged to the CARES Act. We were able to do that. So that kind of gave him a little bit of wiggle room for the rest of the year. So I feel like it would be manageable for this year's budget if council approves it.
and that would just change next year's appropriations.
Is this person, have you got a slot in your records there where you can hire so many people? Do you
We
have
did
a
that.
slot for a full-time person?
Yeah, we did that back when we made the SRO full-time. We made a slot because we didn't know if we were going to be taking on more dispatchers. We actually added a spot for a full-time dispatcher as well as full-time police officer. That went into that.
That's good.
into that slot.
As long as you got a slot, I'm happy. But you know something, and this is just hypothetical. I'm not just, if you're paying somebody like $20 an hour, when you get through with the FUTA, SUTA, FACA, and workman's comp, unemployment, and the insurance and all the other stuff, you're probably paying $45, $50 an hour. I'm just telling y'all that. You know, if you figure out the FUTA, SUTA, FACA, that's state, federal, and Social Security, and retirement, and the workman's comp, and the unemployment, and whatever kind of retirement stuff is going on, you're paying someone like basically $45, $50 an hour, maybe more.
Yeah, there's no question about that. What they do, like at my company, they haven't done this in a while, but what they'll do periodically is they'll show us those charges and all the money that they spend us, just to show them exactly how much we cost them. And it's like, all right, we get it, guys. But
yeah, I did construction claims for like 18 years, and I used to have to do it almost every day. So I know. that it costs a lot more than $20 an hour. And I
Yeah,
was just using that as a figure, you know.
mhm,
Well,
sure.
the officers don't make $20 an hour. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I was
There's
just using that as a
only
number.
one person or two people in the police department that make over that. So,
I was just using that as a hypothetical number.
So I just want to think we need to look at the 2022 appropriations and make sure that we have that built in for those.
It needs to be built
Benefits.
in.
Yeah,
It
but
does.
it's not there now, so we need to make sure we make adjustments when we do our workshop.
We'll bring it up.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
All right. Public records form. Jenny, you sent us the new form.
Yeah, I know Matt wanted to use the old one with the old logo, but I couldn't even read it. I didn't have a copy anywhere that I could read. So this one, I think we worked on a couple years ago because this was already in my computer and I had to take out it originally said the first 10 pages are free because at one point it used to be that way and at some point it changed. And now our handbook just says 5 cents a page.
Yep.
So other than that, I think everything is in here. You know, if you want to look at that and Michelle can look at it and see if there's anything that we need to talk about or change.
5 cent a form is not bad.
Yeah, I don't really think we have to do legislation to change it, do we, Michelle? Yeah,
No.
it's just like an
No.
update in the handbook appendixes.
Right.
I think it looks fine.
I'll look at it.
Okay.
Right.
This is
Leave it,
just
Michelle?
I gotta go.
you gotta go?
You gotta go unless you have a question for me.
No question for you. Go.
Oh, okay.
Have a good night.
Everybody have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Just two quick
Bye.
things. And this is just me being OCD, Matt. Top line in the bottom box, Mantua is not capitalized. Second
Top-
box, yeah, record has never been maintained by the village of Mantua.
Oh, okay.
So that's just me. That's just
Yeah,
me.
you want to catch that stuff. This is
Yeah.
for the public, so I appreciate that.
Yep. And the other question is all these records, are they still physical copies somewhere? Like they need to be retrieved and copied, all that stuff? Are these electronic somewhere?
A lot of this stuff is electronic and a lot of records requests might come through the email. Like I get employment record requests all the time and that's all through email.
Yeah. But there's still a lot that's still physical hard copies somewhere, like some real old ones or something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So just throwing something out there. I know what people have been doing with the COVID money is using that to, digitize all their records. So maybe that's something we could look at. If there's some that aren't done, that we could use that to get them done or whatever. Just something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
How often do we get a records request, honestly? Like to go back and do that?
Well, just to go back and get everything digital anyways, get it done eventually.
I
think
had
there's been-
one big request last year and it was from an inmate who wanted a lot of meeting minutes and stuff. Other than that, I didn't get any records requests other than the ones for employment information, which is kind of standard. It's like a agency that requests it every year, but
Yeah.
so we really don't get a lot of records requests.
Yeah, sure. That's cool. So I'm just thinking, like, if we're getting COVID funds for that, we're able to use it for that. It's got to get done eventually. I'd rather use somebody else, well, not our money to accomplish that than, using our money to accomplish it. So just, again, something to think about.
All right. Do we have any new or other business? Anybody?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Real quick, I am taking the sunshine law training, but I'm chipping away at it.
Yeah,
I'm doing
it's
like
horrible. It's so
yeah,
dry, isn't it? You just
it's dry and it's long, and you have to pay attention. Like you have to watch it. I know.
Yeah, yeah. I've only taken it once and that was enough for me. I was like, yeah.
So I do one every couple days, you know, I'm like, I'm just gonna chip away at this thing.
Well, good for you. Yeah, that's fabulous.
I am working on it.
Are you going like a chapter at a time or something? Because normal training is only a 3-hour class.
They're videos.
Oh,
Yeah, so you have to watch the video and they're like 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long each, and there's like a little quiz at the end.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be painful.
Yeah. And again, it's like more videos, so you're watching a computer.
I
You
did
know.
it in person, the 3 hours, and it was it was just as boring. You're just like, oh my Lord.
It is very boring.
I did it too.
Horrible. So good on you, Matt. Good on you. Taking one for the team. Good job. Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Ah,
Aye. It's 6:35. Fantastic.
Very good.
all right,
Thank you.
guys, stay
Right, Matt.
safe.
Watch your
You
mom.
guys be safe.
Be careful with your mom.
Thank you.
My mom got COVID and she passed away. So just Easter.
Sorry to hear that.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
COVID in the elderly is not a fun thing. So
Okay.
she got both her shots and then tested positive for COVID
Okay.
a week later. So watch her.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
I got both of mine.
I get my
Yeah,
next one on
stay
the
safe.
18th. Yeah, you too. Have a nice evening, everybody. See you next week.
Okay, good night.